If I told you that some of the strongest bodies in the world after 50 are built without gyms, machines, or even the idea of working out, you might doubt me. Yet every morning, quietly and consistently, many Japanese elders perform a small set of movements that look almost ordinary. No sweat-soaked intensity, no chasing exhaustion, and still, their joints stay fluid, their balance sharp, their muscles awake. The secret is not effort, it is alignment with biology. Slow squatting, especially to a chair or gently toward the floor, is not a test of leg strength, it is a negotiation between the brain and the joints. After 50, many people stop squatting not because they cannot, but because the body no longer feels safe doing so. Knees become guarded, hips tighten, and the nervous system begins to associate depth with danger. This avoidance quietly accelerates weakness. What is not used does not simply fade, it becomes feared. The knee is not designed to be protected by stiffness. It is designed to be protected by coordination. When you lower yourself slowly, the brain must calculate angles, pressure, and speed in real time. Quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and small stabilizing muscles do not fire in isolation, they converse. This conversation restores joint integrity far more effectively than isolated strength work, because joints crave timing, not force. From a biological perspective, cartilage has no direct blood supply. It is nourished through movement, like a sponge absorbing fluid. Slow squatting compresses and releases the knee and hip surfaces rhythmically, pulling nutrients into the joint and flushing out metabolic waste. When movement disappears, this internal circulation dries up, and pain appears. The pain is often mistaken as damage, when it is more accurately starvation. There is also a profound neurological layer. The descent of a squat challenges the body's braking system. Muscles lengthen under control, training the brain to slow motion rather than collapse into it. This eccentric control is what protects against sudden drops, missed steps, and awkward landings. Without it, even strong muscles respond too late. With it, the body moves smoothly through uncertainty. Equally important is the psychological signal being sent. Each controlled squat tells the nervous system, this depth is survivable. Over time, fear dissolves and movement expands. This is why many Japanese elders squat daily not as exercise, but as part of living, sitting low, rising often, reminding the body that the ground is not an enemy. Mobility is maintained because confidence is maintained. Hip involvement is another quiet benefit. The hips are the body's power distributors. When they weaken or stiffen, the knees absorb forces they were never meant to handle alone. Slow squatting restores hip contribution, redistributing load upward and relieving joint stress. The body returns to its original design, shared responsibility rather than isolated strain. Breathing again plays a critical role. Exhaling slowly as you descend reduces internal pressure and allows deeper, smoother movement. The diaphragm coordinates with pelvic and abdominal muscles, creating stability from the inside out. This internal support protects the spine and knees more effectively than external bracing or rigid posture. What makes slow squatting transformative is not depth or repetition, but intention. Done daily, even for a few repetitions, it preserves independence. Getting out of a chair, stepping off a curb, rising from the floor, these are the true strength tests after 50. By practicing them deliberately, the body stays prepared for life itself. In this simple motion, aging is not resisted, it is educated. Standing on one leg may look like a child's game, but for the aging body it is one of the most honest conversations you can have with your nervous system. Balance is often misunderstood as a matter of strong ankles or firm feet. In reality, balance is a prediction system. The brain is constantly asking, where am I going, and how quickly do I need to respond if something changes? After 50, that prediction system begins to slow, not because the body is failing, but because it is receiving weaker signals. Inside the body, balance is negotiated between three silent partners. The inner ear senses motion and orientation. The eyes provide a visual map of the world, and deep sensors in muscles and joints report position and pressure. With age, these signals lose clarity. Vision becomes less precise. Joint receptors grow quieter. The brain, lacking reliable information, compensates by stiffening the body. This stiffness feels like caution, but it actually increases the risk of falling. When an elder stands on one leg, something remarkable happens. The brain is forced to listen again. Tiny muscles in the foot wake up, adjusting pressure millimeter by millimeter. The ankle sends rapid feedback to the spinal cord. The hip stabilizers engage not through force, but through timing. At the same time, the inner ear compares motion against stillness, refining its sense of vertical. This is not exercise in the traditional sense, it is neurological calibration. Breathing calmly during this movement is essential. When breathing is rushed, the nervous system interprets threat. Heart rate rises, muscles tense, and balance worsens. Calm breathing tells the brain that instability is not danger. This creates neural plasticity. The brain rewires itself to respond with clarity instead of fear. Over time, the body stops overreacting to small disturbances, like uneven ground or sudden turns. What makes this movement powerful is repetition, not duration. A few seconds each day trains faster reflexes than long, infrequent sessions. The nervous system learns best through frequent, low-intensity signals. This is why elders who practice balance daily often recover from slips instinctively, while stronger individuals who neglect balance freeze and fall. There is also a deeper physiological effect. Standing on one leg activates cross-body neural pathways that connect the left and right sides of the brain. These pathways are essential for coordination, reaction speed, and even cognitive health. Research increasingly shows that balance training supports memory and attention, because movement and cognition share neural networks. When the body navigates space well, the mind stays oriented too. Emotionally, balance training rebuilds trust. Many people over 50 carry an unconscious fear of falling. This fear subtly alters posture and gait, making falls more likely. Practicing balance in a controlled, safe way dissolves that fear. Confidence returns, not as bravado, but as quiet assurance. The body remembers that it knows how to correct itself. In this single, humble movement, strength is not demanded, awareness is invited. And awareness, once restored, becomes the most powerful protector of all. Gentle spinal rotation is one of the most underestimated movements in aging, yet it speaks directly to the body's deepest need, adaptability. The spine is not a pillar meant to stay rigid. It is a living column designed to twist, respond, and distribute force in many directions. After 50, however, daily life narrows this range. Chairs, screens, and forward-focused habits train the spine to face one way only. Over time, the nervous system begins to treat rotation as unfamiliar territory, and unfamiliarity quietly turns into stiffness and pain. When elders rotate the spine slowly, seated or standing tall, they are not stretching for flexibility. They are restoring communication between vertebrae, muscles, and breath. Each segment of the spine houses nerves that influence organs, posture, and balance. When movement stops, these nerves become less responsive. Rotation reawakens them, reminding the body that turning is natural, not threatening. There is also a circulatory intelligence at work. Spinal discs depend on movement to stay nourished. They absorb fluid when compressed and release waste when decompressed. Gentle twisting creates this subtle pumping action without strain. This is why rotation done slowly often relieves back discomfort more effectively than forceful stretching. The body does not need to be pushed, it needs to be invited. Breathing deepens the effect. As the torso rotates, the rib cage expands and contracts asymmetrically, encouraging fuller lung movement. This improves oxygen exchange and gently massages the organs. Better breathing regulates the autonomic nervous system, lowering background stress signals that contribute to chronic inflammation. In this way, a simple twist influences far more than the spine. It affects blood pressure, digestion, and emotional calm. Neurologically, rotation reconnects left and right sides of the body. Walking, turning, and reaching all depend on this cross-body coordination. When it fades, movements become cautious and fragmented. Gentle rotation restores fluid transitions, allowing the body to change direction smoothly. This is especially important for fall prevention, as many falls occur not while moving straight, but while turning. Philosophically, rotation carries a quiet message. Rigidity is not safety. Flexibility is. Elders who rotate daily are not trying to stay young, they are staying responsive. And responsiveness, more than strength, is what allows the body to age with dignity. Soft stretching in Japanese elder routines is never aggressive. There is no forcing, no counting, no pursuit of extremes. This is because the true target is not muscle length, but tissue health. Beneath the muscles lies fascia, a continuous web of connective tissue that transmits force, stores hydration, and shapes posture. With age, fascia tends to dry and stiffen, not because of injury, but because of monotony. Repetitive movement and long stillness deprive it of variation. When elders reach, fold, and extend gently each day, they are reintroducing diversity of motion. Fascia responds not to intensity, but to slow, sustained changes in tension. These movements draw water back into the tissue, restoring its ability to glide rather than grip. Pain often decreases not because muscles are looser, but because layers that were stuck begin to slide again. This hydration process is slow but cumulative. Fascia remodels over weeks and months, not minutes. That is why daily softness outperforms occasional intensity. The body prefers consistency over drama. When stretching is calm, the nervous system allows release. When stretching is forced, it resists. This distinction becomes critical after 50, when recovery capacity is reduced. There is also a sensory benefit. Gentle stretching increases body awareness, helping the brain refine its internal map. This improves posture and movement efficiency without conscious effort. People often stand taller not because they are trying to, but because the body remembers its natural alignment once restrictions ease. Emotionally, soft stretching carries a tone of self-respect. It communicates patience rather than urgency. Many elders find that this daily ritual becomes meditative, regulating mood and reducing anxiety. The body feels listened to, not commanded. Over time, trust replaces tension. In this practice, flexibility is not about reaching farther. It is about moving, kinder. And kindness, biologically, creates resilience. Blank. Walking is the most natural movement humans possess, yet after 50 it often becomes hurried, shortened, and disconnected. Japanese elders treat walking differently. It is not transportation alone, it is daily neurological maintenance. When done mindfully, walking becomes a full-body conversation between posture, rhythm, and breath. Each step activates a cross pattern in the brain. Right leg with left arm, left leg with right arm. This pattern synchronizes the hemispheres, supporting coordination and cognitive clarity. When arm swing disappears and steps shorten, this neural dialogue weakens. Restoring it through deliberate walking improves balance, reaction time, and even mental focus. Posture matters deeply. Walking tall allows the spine to act as a spring rather than a shock absorber. The head floats, the chest opens, and breathing deepens naturally. This improves oxygen delivery and keeps the cardiovascular system responsive without overloading joints. Unlike intense exercise, walking respects the aging body's need for sustainability. Mindful walking also regulates metabolism. Muscles act as endocrine organs, releasing substances that influence blood sugar and inflammation when they contract rhythmically. Daily walking keeps these signals active without triggering excessive stress hormones. The result is steadier energy rather than exhaustion. Perhaps most importantly, walking restores confidence. Many elders unconsciously brace themselves against the world, shrinking their stride out of fear. Walking with awareness reverses this pattern. The body relearns flow. The ground feels negotiable again. In this simple act, movement becomes reassurance. Life continues forward, one balanced step at a time.